So thank you for inviting us, both myself and Roisin, to today's meeting. I'm Deirdre and Roisin, and I'm Student Development Manager based in the Careers, Employability and Skills Service. And I'm going to talk very briefly about Development Weeks, and then Roisin will take you through the website and talk about anything that I probably will have missed when I'm telling you. So without further ado, so Development Weeks, hopefully you are all aware of Development Weeks. They are 2 weeks at the end of the academic year where students and staff are able to come together and deliver and take part in a range of activities. Now, obviously, in previous years, these would have been face-to-face activities, and in the past we would have had drum circles, we would have had coding workshops, we would have had well-being events, that a mindfulness walk, etc. And hopefully some of you may well have either led some activities or taken part in them yourselves. This year, obviously, is going to be very different because everything is online. Last year, unfortunately, they were cancelled, so we are very much looking forward to being able to deliver activity this year for Development Weeks, and we are very excited about it in the sense that it is a completely kind of new way of celebrating what we have been doing, both ourselves as staff, but also yourselves as students. So this year they take place between the 24th of May and the 4th of June. And as I said, everything is going to be online at the moment. Sorry, everything will be online, and we're actually using the theme for Development Weeks this year is about making connections. So whether that's connecting through work, connecting with each other, connecting with ourselves. So that's a very, very broad theme, and what we hope within that theme allows you all then to look at anything that you have been doing, anything that you've learnt, new skills that you've learnt, or anything that that you have been taking part in and developing yourselves or with others. You'll be able to celebrate that through the Development Weeks website. The other kind of like strapline is celebrate. Yes, again. So it's celebrate, reflect, and introduce. And again, what we're hoping is that these are broad enough for you to think about publicising or showcasing anything that you or students that you know have been doing over the last year. We know without a doubt that this has been a really, really tough year. I don't need to tell you all that. We know as staff that it's been a tough year for us all. But what we want to do is we want to use Development Weeks this year as an opportunity to be able to absolutely admit that and say, yes, it's been tough, but actually what we have learnt about ourselves, what we've learnt about each other, what we have been able to do within the confines of our experiences. So, for example, you may well have learnt a new skill. You may well have got together with a group of students and connected in a different way, team working skills, etc. Also, what we can see is that committees and societies have still been able to meet up and to be able to deliver and to be able to get involved in some way or other, and we would like to be able to celebrate that. So if that's a video or a recording or a podcast that already exists that we're able to upload onto the website, or if there is something that you think that you could encourage students within your courses to be able to get together to share that knowledge. So, for example, if any students have been doing cookery classes, or if they have been learning a new skill. So I'll say learning to knit, because it's just easier to say learning to knit. And it shouldn't be laughed at, because a lot of people have learned to knit. Maybe none of you have learned to knit, but we don't know. I mean, like, for example, I have, reintroduced myself back into yoga. I'm not going to take a video of me doing yoga. There is no way on earth that I would do that. But it's those kinds of things, and we're not just looking for videos. We're looking for podcasts. We're looking for pieces of writing. If you've discovered your inner author, or if you've had a competition, joined a book group, or been part of a book group, or written, last year you read a target of 20 or 30 books. Those are the kind of things that we want to celebrate and to do. So nothing is too small or nothing is too big to be able to celebrate on development weeks. And also we want to be able to create a space that you might be able to also have fun. And I know that sounds a little bit, it might not seem quite achievable, but again, it is that thing of, like, actually, if you've got some ideas about how you could get across having fun, showcasing, or actually doing something, then please do. That is what Development Weeks is about, because it's about your development and students' development. I'm going to ask if you've got any questions now before I will ask Roisin to talk through the website. I would encourage you to ask me some questions, anything at all, because Development Weeks really is about you, and we as staff can facilitate and can create spaces for you to be able to highlight and to showcase what you've been doing. But it isn't about us, and we don't know everything either. So if you've got ideas or if you've got questions, please do ask, because that's the only way that we can make sure that we can offer you a portal or a platform that is able to showcase that work, not disregarding the fact that it has been a tough year and you probably are all fed up of active being online. But again, this is an opportunity to maybe just record actual live stuff and put it online. So if anybody's got any questions, please do ask.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please do.
Sorry. I'm just going to ask, just to clarify, so this is whether you're a team or an individual having learned a new skill or developing something. Yeah. So it can be something that you've been doing that you've had to transition, as well as something that you've newly picked up.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I think, again, using those three words: celebrate, reflect, and introduce, and so that's broad enough to be able to say, I want to celebrate that I've learned something, or my team have learned something, or we as a team have done this. I want to reflect on the fact that actually at the beginning of lockdown I felt like this, middle of lockdown I felt a bit like the other, and now at this stage, what have I got to look forward to, or how do I feel? And the reflecting is really important, and whether that's in a video diary, or whether that's in a poem, or in a piece of dance, or whatever, that's what we're really wanting our students to be able to verbalize and to visualize. I think really it's about an opportunity for students to be able to say, this is how we felt, we feel, we are looking forward to, or we want to introduce, going forward. This is, so it's as big and as broad as you want it to be.
Cool, thank you.
Okay.
Can I also make a point out, just kind of in support of what you're saying, because I think this year more than any other, and we've reflected on this in forums before, about how difficult it's been to be a student representative this year. And I think, you guys, everyone on the school has had to negotiate and advocate in situations where no student rep before has ever had to. So I just think it's really important as well that this could be an opportunity for you guys to say, these are the kinds of problems that we encountered this year. This is how you guys developed as people, but as students, and also how education's developed. Like, we've been talking recently about the different changes introduced as a result of COVID and the pandemic. and how it's made education better in some ways and how it's been very challenging in other ways. So like specifically about your representative roles in this, like I just think it's important that we take this opportunity to kind of celebrate, you know, as one of those things, what you guys have been able to do, because when I was a course rep, I never had to deal with pandemics, you know, and I think this is a good opportunity for us to do that, really.
I think also as well, just in terms of your own development opportunities and also the students that you're representing, again, this is a really great opportunity using the reflection and the celebration elements of it, of development weeks, in that sense of like being able to actually form into words, whether that's written or whether that's verbalized, about what you have achieved, because we all know that, you know, coming over the next 2 or 3 years, you know, one of the main questions that will be, you know, in an interview will be, you know, well, you know, how did the COVID pandemic affect you in terms of your studies or whatever, or you might want to use that experience as evidence of how you were resilient or how you were able to learn something very quickly or adapt very quickly. You know, we've got a whole language, new language, you know, agility is there, pivoting is another word. There's all of these new sets of words that we have to then explain and to demonstrate how we have you know, utilized and worked through that. So again, it's a real opportunity for you to be able to write down or reflect, so that then you can put that into a form of words in an application form or in an interview situation or in a presentation to new students, etc., etc. So it's not just about development weeks. This is about your development.
Yeah, and what like an interview answer as well, in terms of like for you guys in the future to say, like, you know, tell us the time when you had to demonstrate resilience and the specific examples that all these guys will have from their course about something that went wrong because of COVID and how you have worked with staff and all the rest. There are loads of opportunities here. And I think the thing about development weeks, it gives you a bit of a space to just think about that in a way that like the year goes past and you were a course rep, but you don't take the time to like really think about like, you know, how it helps your development and your professional development and stuff. So I think it's a really, really good opportunity. Like,
yeah. Okay, shall we ask Roisin to go through the website?
I'll share my screen with you. Is that okay? Everybody see that? Yeah?
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I just want to give you a brief tour of our newly built website for Development Weeks 2021. And as Deirdre said, and I will repeat some of what Deirdre has said, our theme this year is making connections. And this is significant for a couple of reasons. You know, obviously this is the year that we're all missing our connections, as we've been talking about there, but, you know, anything from live teaching and tutorials to playing sports or taking part in clubs and things, and generally just opportunities to meet and connect with new people. So part of the theme this year is to encourage students to make connections. And our tagline, as you can see, and as Deirdre has said to you, is celebrate, reflect and introduce. Now, unlike other years, whenever Development Weeks is very much limited to those 2 weeks, what we would like this year is to encourage students either to look at things that they've done as individuals or with a group of friends or maybe with a club or society, and indeed, as Jason has said, yourselves as a group, to have a look at what they've achieved this year and celebrate this, and you know, by capturing it in some way. And that might be with a video recording, it might be photographs, it could be a blog post, could be a poem if you have that sort of skill, it could be an interpretive dance, whatever it is that, you know, whatever way that you feel that you might be able to capture that experience, and then send it through to us at developmentweeks@qub.ac.uk, and we will host it on the Development Weeks website. So an opportunity to, you know, celebrate what you've done, reflect on it and introduce it to others. And I'll just move down. So Where will we host it? There's a bit of information there that I'll let you go through in your own time. But again, the theme for this year is about making connections, and it's a very broad remit. And as I move down the site, you can see that there are 4 headlines there. So connect with business, connect online, connect with others, and connect with yourself. And under each of these headings or galleries, and I'll emphasize again that these are broad categories, so you don't have to worry too much about, would my video or something fit into that category or that theme. They're broad, it'll fit in. So we have populated some of the galleries with some of our own videos. I'll go into connect with business here, just so that you can see we've already populated with some of our videos. Some of those are ones that I've done some training on. There's things there for employer panels and things like that. Don't be put off by those beautiful professional stock images, because behind them is very ordinary people, and I say that because some of them are mine, and those people do not appear in my videos. But at the bottom of each of the 4 galleries, so if you post something, it'll come up under one of those galleries. At the bottom of each of the 4 galleries, we also are using Pubble, I think it's called, to be able to allow people to comment on what's posted up as well. So it might be that a friend of yours posts something up, and you might, want to make some supportive comment for them and put it up there. And I should say that it is moderated, so the comments will all be supportive, but that's the sort of things there as well. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail on each of the galleries, but you can see connect online there. Connect with others is more, it's quite useful there, especially I think for clubs and societies. It's a good one there to be able to post things there. And the last one then, connect with yourself. And again, it's a broad theme. What we have up here mostly is about health and well-being, and different ways to connect with yourself, look after yourself. I think that this is also maybe a good place where some of those things that Deirdre talked about, things that have helped you cope with the last year, and that might be, so it is about learning new skills and things like that, but some of those things are there to have helped you cope as well. So it might be that you've picked up a musical instrument that you haven't lifted since you did your grade 6 or something. It might be that you've been baking or drawing or volunteering or singing or something like that. We'd love to you to post those things and more, and we fit it into the galleries for you. So if I go back to the home page here, so posting up something that you've done is one way to take part, but there are other ways as well. So you can see here that there's event listings, and these are live events that are taking place. I think at the minute we have about 12 of them. We hope to have an awful lot more there, but these would be ones that would be hosted by staff and by external people, but staff all across the university, from ourselves in careers, from academics, across the university. And obviously what we want is to have a lot of live events happening there so that you can attend them. So that's, another way that you can take part in development weeks. And a third way that you can take part is to actually host an activity. And to do that, you basically would, decide on what you might like to do. When I say host an activity, I'm talking about, maybe putting on one of those live events. You could do it before the 2 weeks of development weeks if that suits you better, and you can record it, and we will, post up that recording as well. But you might want to actually host an event during those two weeks for people to register for. So obviously you can do it as an individual, but it's probably easier and certainly a lot more fun maybe to do it with, as a group. The events would be online. There'd be fewer restrictions maybe than other years, because they don't necessarily have to be aligned to the employability skills as they would have been before. They can last any length of time that's suitable for you. So maybe even just 20 minutes might be enough. So it's about offering opportunities to other students. Maybe it might just be a fun way to connect or something, but it's also something that you can maybe add to your skill set, put on your CV. It's a very simple form. I'll not go into it there because it'll just come up with my details and stuff, but a very simple Microsoft form for you to fill in, much simpler than other years and any of you who've done this before. You will need to manage the registrations for it, and we would recommend that you use Eventbrite for it, but we will promote it through our website and through our media channels. And also, if you host an event, you are also able to apply for Degree Plus. And finally, if you look under more options here, and it says need inspiration. And if you go in there, it is a really good place to give you some ideas of the sort of things that you could do. And, they are, I'm sort of calling them quite big ideas, because some of them are, they would require quite a lot of input. They might require a number of people to get involved in things. But again, you can do it in a very small way as well. So some of them are quite big ideas. You can do it big, you can do it small, whatever you think is going to be suitable for you. Sometimes your energy and enthusiasm, I don't want to dampen that down. Do it as big as you absolutely can and want to. But it gives you lots of ideas here. Don't feel limited by the list. I would urge you to have a good look at the section, because there's some really exciting ideas on there and it may well inspire you. Some of the things that I particularly like are the virtual pitching or showcase events. I suppose the in conversation with, I really like the idea of that, of maybe interviewing somebody that you admire and videoing it and putting it up there for the rest of us to see. Hackathons are always popular. They won't be popular with me, but they're very popular with a lot of students. And I hope that in the virtual world that those sort of things can still take place. There's debates and podcasts and maybe just doing a playlist. I'd also love to see students under here rate my art. As an example, I'd love to see students maybe hosting challenges or competitions, maybe for, artwork or poems or photos or something. You could, do something like a challenge for a doodle a day for the 2 weeks of development week, something like that. There's also the possibility of social media takeovers, where we would give you access to our careers media channels. Someone else would have to manage that one, Deirdre. Don't let me be.